understanding now more than ever that the person you marry, baby, take your time to choose them. And I'm just realizing that this thing of rushing people to get married quickly is so dangerous.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you guys watching my video. Please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Help me get my subscriber count up. Help me get to that 1,000 subscriber mark by the end of the year. Share the video with your friends. And without further ado, let's check out today's video.
After being married for 3 weeks and a couple of days, I've come to the conclusion that truly the biggest mistake that any of us can make is, after not giving your life to Jesus, is getting married to
she's a Christian.
Like, I knew that before, but these few days of being married have solidified that realization for me. Because
are you struggling?
My husband and I both work from home. Every day since the wedding, we have spent about 95% of our time together, maybe 97.5%. That is a long time.
Is it?
I've just been thinking, thank God I married somebody that I can be myself around, that he can be himself around me.
I thought you were going to say she doesn't like it around.
Conflict with each other, that we can talk about anything, that we can give each other space when it's needed. Like, somebody that I can do life with, because I would have had it up to here by now if this man was wrong for me. And that's 3 weeks in.
That's true.
Imagine 2 years in, 20 years in. And all of a sudden, I'm understanding now more than ever that the person you marry, baby, take your time to choose them. And I'm just realizing that this thing of rushing people to get married quickly is so dangerous. Because the person that you marry, you are going to be with even more than you were with your parents. Like, almost all the time.
Oh, your life. If you don't divorce.
You shouldn't rush to make that type of decision. I'm grateful I lucked out. I won't lie. Because I don't know where I found that man. But baby, take your time and make sure the pick is right, because marriage is serious.
It is.
Anyways, I'm going to go cuddle with that man because he good to me.
Yeah. I like that. I've been talking to quite a few people about this concept that she's mentioned, which is that people are rushing people to get married. It is my opinion that this language is quite fear-mongering. So here's my thing. I'm very pro-marriage, and I believe that marriage should be done early. I believe you should be getting married between your 20s, before your 30s at the very most. That is my opinion. And I believe that those who are married, those who are older in the faith, should be talking to young people and telling them to get serious and get their act together and start their life with somebody. That is my opinion. That is what I believe. The reason why I believe this is because the successful marriages don't get enough voices. The more we speak in this fear-mongering way, we can't be surprised when we have higher rates of singles in the church, because all we're telling them is that it can ruin your life. And I do think there needs to be a balance. There are certain things in life that require more thought. It requires us to take it seriously. It requires us to give it a bit more attention. But we don't tell people not to do it because of that. And there are certain things in life, that things like having a child, things like getting married, choosing the right career, these things tend to be like the biggest aspect of our life. I believe there are ways for us to go about it rather than the language of, oh my God, if you make the wrong decisions, you're going to die. That sentiment has overshadowed the positives of marriage. That sentiment itself is keeping so many people away from getting married. And then they end up in their late 20s, they end up in their 30s, then in their 40s. And then they wish to themselves, actually, I should have just done it because this guy was all right. This is another aspect of life that I think we really over-spiritualize. Don't get me twisted, guys. I believe it's a serious decision. I know if I ended up with the wrong woman, I'll be finished. It is a serious decision. My thing is, we should be teaching, supporting and helping and pushing young people to understand what it means, the gravity of it, how necessary it is. The more young Christians pair up, the more of a godly community we would have, the more of a godly country we would have, the more we achieve as a Christian community. The less of that happens, the more the deterioration of families. I just feel like, in my opinion, and guys, you can tell me what you think in the comments below, because I know many people have had bad experiences in marriages, but I know so many good experiences. I know so many people, and they don't get to talk about it. They're not on the internet. They're not talking about it. They're just getting on with their lives, and they love their husband. They love their wife, but they're not talking on the internet. But those who have divorced, those who have separated, those who have had bad experiences, they're so loud that this is all young people are hearing. As a result, the young people decide, oh, actually, I don't want to get married. Or maybe the young person saw their parents fail at marriage and they decided, I don't want to get married. And before you know it, we have a 30-year-old man who doesn't have anybody. We have a 40-year-old man who doesn't have anybody. I just feel like the way we have raised our Christian young people, we're having like the effects happen now in their older age. And we're now surprised. I was talking about Ariel Fist the other day, who admitted that when she was younger, the marriage and the dating thing was proposed to her group, as like, don't do it, like don't look at a guy, don't da, 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 da. And then by the time she hits her 30s or her late 20s, they're now surprised that she doesn't have anyone. They're not surprised that, wait, where is your guy? What did we expect to happen? And this is what I mean about the language, because I believe God said in the Bible, marriage is his will. He created that. He is the one who instituted marriage. So he wants that for us. He wants you to get married, and he wants you to do it in good time. There will be anomalies. You will have people get married at 50, but generally you're meant to pair up young, build together, and then create godly families. That is my opinion. So we just need to be mindful with the way we speak about marriages, because there are so many things in life that people do and it ends up bad, but that doesn't mean that you tell everybody else behind you don't do it. It just means you failed, but somebody else can succeed where you failed. And then most importantly, I think what ruins marriages the most is really bad character. On the side of the man is tyrannical. He doesn't have an understanding of how women work. On the side of the woman, she's terrible at submitting to authority. She's terrible at submitting to her husband. Maybe she even tries to lead the home on her own. These are the things that would be ironed out in the prep towards marriage, the counseling towards marriage, the therapy, the meetings with your elders, your mom, your dad, the people who have been successful in this, who are able to tell you, no, do it like this. No, that's wrong. No, don't talk to your husband like that. No, don't talk to your wife like that. This is where you are prepared for the thing. You're prepared for marriage. And then when you get married, you shouldn't have that much of a problem. Of course, you will have situations that you have to deal with, but you would have been prepared for those things. I just think this language is a detriment to young Christians, because now we have young people who they're getting married later, if that, they get married later and later and later and later. Another reason why I really think it's good to get married early is that your mindset is still forming. If I married my wife when she's like in her late 30s, because 30 years is not small, guys. She would have been so rooted in her way. And this is one of the things that people are not talking about on the internet, where we have all these older stars and older women who are basically unable to find love, unable to settle down. They are now rooted in their behavior. They're rooted in their personality and character. There is nothing you're gonna do. You will not come into their life and tell them what to do. This is one of the reasons why the later you marry, the harder it is for you to hold a marriage, in my opinion. Guys, I really like this video. I really enjoyed what this young lady said. I want to be clear. It is important that you marry the right person, because if you don't, it can ruin your life. My issue is there's a lot of fear mongering on that, because at the end of the day, we would just sound like the world, which is that many men who have heard about the dating horror stories have just decided, based on the horror stories, it's not worth it to get married. And that's where they are. This is what we're in danger of feeding young Christians, because many Christians have failed in marriages. They chose to adopt the world's mindset around marriage, certain ideologies, and they failed in marriage. And as a result, they come out here and say certain things and then deter our younger people from getting married. Because if you, Christian person, failed at marriage, then what's the point? That's what tends to come out. I could be wrong. I do believe we need to, as older people and married people, be treating marriage as a milestone. in my opinion. It doesn't mean everyone has to do it at a particular point, but there should be a time frame where you can say, okay, this is the time you're meant to go to school. This is the time you're meant to go to uni. This is the time you're meant to get a job and start working. This is the time you should be preparing to get married, and you should be aiming for that. That doesn't mean if they don't meet it, that they are a lesser human being, but it needs to be stated that this is the time and the season for certain things to happen. That's my opinion. I really don't like just seeing like the singles in the church are just increasing. We've always had singles, but now it's just getting out of hand. And I think some of our ideologies around this needs to change. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Remember to leave a like, comment, sub. Help me get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you on the next one.